Let's talk about search. For what feels like forever, it's been this stable, predictable empire. But that's all changing. In this explainer, we're diving into the monumental shift happening in search advertising, and it all kicks off with one absolutely massive number. It all starts right here. $249 billion. That's nearly $250 billion. It's a staggering figure, right? And it immediately tells you we're talking about one of the most powerful forces in the entire digital economy. That's right. According to Work Media, that is the forecast value for the global search advertising market for 2025. This is a huge, powerful, and deeply established digital kingdom. But, and this is the big but, as we're about to see, even the most powerful kingdoms can be challenged. So here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll get a handle on the sheer scale of this empire. Then, we'll start to look for the first cracks in its foundation. We'll meet the new contenders storming the gates, we'll learn the new rules of engagement, and finally, we'll ask what the future of, well, finding stuff is actually going to look like. Okay, so let's dive into Section 1 by establishing just how massive this kingdom truly is. We are talking about a foundational pillar of the modern internet. Now check this out. While social media has just kind of squeaked ahead, search remains the undisputed second largest advertising channel in the world. It is an absolute giant, bigger than retail media, bigger even than traditional channels like linear TV combined. And this kingdom, it has a king, an undisputed ruler. Of that nearly $250 billion market, Google is forecast to capture over 213 times billion. The rest of the market? Yeah, they're all just fighting for that little remaining slice. It is a level of dominance that is almost hard to wrap your head around. And this quote from Work Media just nails it. Think about every single advertising dollar spent on the planet outside of China. TV, online, print, you name it. 1 in every 5 of those dollars went directly to one place, Google search. That is real power. So, with that kind of power, you'd think the reign is pretty much secure forever, right? Well, the data is starting to tell a different and way more complicated story. And this is exactly where our story takes a turn. The very ground underneath this $250 billion empire is starting to shift, all thanks to new technologies and new user behaviors. And here it is, the first real sign of a crack in the armor. According to SimilarWeb, while Google's global traffic dipped just a little bit, its new AI-native competitors, like ChatGPT and Perplexity, saw their traffic explode by 180%. It might be a small dip for Google, but it signals a massive shift in where we're going for answers. And we're seeing another clue over in Europe. Now, search is still growing at a healthy 12.4%, don't get me wrong, but here's the kicker. IAB Europe notes that it's now growing slower than the total digital ad market. The real rocket fuel is coming from places like social video and retail media. For the first time in a very long time, the king is being outpaced. So if the king's growth is slowing, who's behind it? Well, it's time to meet the new contenders who are challenging the old way of doing things. The thing is, this challenge isn't just coming from one direction. It's a war being fought on 3 distinct fronts. First, you've got the AI-powered answer engines like Perplexity. Second, there's all the in-app discovery happening on social and video platforms like TikTok. And third, you have the purchase-focused world of commerce search, totally dominated by Amazon.
Each of these challengers uses a different weapon. AI search offers direct conversational answers, and yep, we're already seeing players like Perplexity integrate sponsored ads. Social search capitalizes on in-app discovery, with TikTok even launching a search center just for advertisers. And retail search leverages pure, raw purchase intent. Amazon's results are all about getting you to click buy.
This new multi-front war means the old rulebook is being thrown right out the window. For brands, for advertisers, and even for Google itself, the game has fundamentally changed. Okay, so with all this new competition, you might think spending on search is declining. But the data shows the complete opposite. According to Sky, paid search spending actually rose 11% in the first quarter. That's its best performance in over a year. So, what's really going on? Well, the growth wasn't from more ads. It was from better ads. The increase was driven by higher click-through rates, or CTRs. This means the battle is no longer just about being seen. It's about being relevant and engaging enough to actually earn that click in a much more competitive environment. And this is where new tools come into play. A key term you gotta know is Performance Max, or PMax. It's an AI-driven campaign model that Google is pushing hard. It moves beyond just chasing clicks and instead focuses on full funnel efficiency, targeting users across their entire journey from awareness all the way to purchase.
So the new path to getting found is a lot more complex. It's about focusing on high-intent searches where people are ready to act. It's about finding ways to integrate ads naturally into those conversational AI answers. And it's about using tools like PMax to target users across their entire journey, not just at the moment they type into a search box.
So what does this all mean? This isn't just some abstract battle between tech giants. This intensifying race for your attention is set to change how all of us find information online. And get this, in a recent WARC survey, nearly half of all global marketers, 48%, said they plan to increase their investment in search advertising this year.
But this isn't a vote for stability. It's the opposite. It shows that experts see the landscape changing and they are doubling down. They aren't investing in the old, quiet kingdom. They're investing in the new competitive race for discovery.
So here's the big takeaway. The quiet, predictable reign is over. The search race is now more fragmented, dynamic, and competitive than ever before. And this pressure is forcing everyone from the king, Google, down to the smallest brands to innovate, adapt, and get a whole lot smarter about how they get found. Which leaves us with a fascinating question for the future. As AI gets better at giving us direct answers, maybe removing the need for a list of blue links, the very idea of searching might change. So how will brands get found in a world where you don't even need to search? That is the next chapter in this $250 billion race.